Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Lily. I am a 25-year-old zero-based cash budgeter and stuffer up in Maine, and I have been doing the budget by paycheck method of cash budgeting for 4 years now, and this system has provided me with the tools to pay down debt and purchase my own home that I now live in with my boyfriend and our 3 dogs. And we do all things budgeting over here, so if any of that sounds like content that may interest you, I sincerely hope that you consider hitting that subscribe button and send in some support my way. But happy Money Monday, everyone. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Full disclosure, I am pre-filming this video way out. I'm filming this on Friday, April 4th. So you guys will be seeing this in a couple days on Monday before our cash stuffing. Also, whoa, sorry if the table goes crazy. The dogs are running back and forth. But we are here today to budget out my second week of income for the month of April. And I have a couple little updates that I will talk to you guys about as we get going. But let's just start with my income. So I have 2 forms of income that we are going to be budgeting this week. I have a full-time job, and the income from that was $600. Post-tax. Now, let me check on Etsy. So I say this in every budget with me, but if I pre-film these videos too far in advance, this is a preliminary paycheck amount. I could make more, I could make less, considering just really depending on when I get more orders, if I get more orders, etc. So as of Friday, April 4th, our Etsy paycheck for next week is currently at $357.66. I am going to leave the change in the bank. So for 600 plus 356, that gives us $956 for our income this week. Now, before we can figure out what we're actually budgeting with, I need to account for the funds that I am leaving in the bank to cover auto drafts and from subscriptions. So that is my little cashless section up here. Firstly, the high yield savings account that I use for my budget is Ally. I'm obsessed with Ally. There is a referral link in the description. If you guys are interested, you will get, it's either $50 or $100, one of the two. People have said it's $100, so I can't guarantee, but it's $50 or $100. If you create an account using that link, and then you have like 3 transfers, I think. If those are successful, I don't think that there's a limit on the transfers, so it can be like $1. But as long as those go through, you will get money, and I will get a little bit as well. I won't get that full 100, but I'll get something. So we're helping each other out here. But I love Ally. You can make essentially electronic cash envelopes and spread out your money. So the money's in the bank. It is accruing interest. They have great interest yield, yada, yada. I could go on for days about Ally. I love them so much. But with that being said, into my Ally account, I have $3 that goes into just a buffer savings account. I have $5 that goes towards Christmas, and then I have $2 that goes into my manifest envelope. So in total, I have $10 that is transferred over to Ally every week, and it's just set it and forget it. It's not there. And then I also have $20 each week invested into my Roth IRA through Charles Schwab. I didn't write that out there, so pretend that's there. But in total for those, I have $30 that are auto transferred. And then this week in particular, for this pay period from the 8th to the 14th, the only subscription that is going to be pulling from my account is my Spotify membership. And that is $12.65. So in total, that is $42.65. I just round that up to $43. And that is what we're going to be leaving out of the budget this week to stay in the bank and cover those auto drafts. So $956 minus 43 is $900 and $13 that we are actually working with for our budgetable income. So the order of operations in this system is obviously completely customized to you. Your priorities are not my priorities. Everyone's budget is unique to them, which is what's great about this system. So when I say these things in my order, obviously it's not something that you need to follow, but my absolute necessities, number one, are my bills and my debt, and number two is my business. Number three is my wallet, meaning my gas and groceries money, and then I go into sinking funds and savings. That's how I do it. Your priorities can be different, but that's it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in my income. My bills amounts. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in my weekly bills and debt amounts. So I have a couple videos on my channel where I show you guys how I calculate my weekly minimums, meaning the minimum amount that I need to stuff into each category in order to hit my monthly goals. But essentially, I take the total of my bills each month and I divide them by the number of paychecks that I want to incorporate into the budget. And I say that because I have a 4-week system. I get paid weekly. So typically I will get 4 paychecks each month. But there are some months that budgeters will call a magic month where there is an extra paycheck at the end of the month. There end up being 5 pay periods. April happens to be one of them. So with that being said, some of my larger bills I did split between 5 paychecks, but a lot of the other ones are still between those 4 paychecks so that I have extra money at the end of the month in that last paycheck to kind of play around with. I hope that makes sense. There's really no point in explaining it. So with that being said, I am going to grab first my bills binder here. And there are some of these that I won't need to flip through, but there are some of them that I may. So we're just going to start. I have my bills for my bills. If you guys are interested in anything that you see me use in my shop, my Etsy shop is actually on sale. We are celebrating 13,000 subscribers. So thank you guys again so much for that. And my Etsy shop is on sale and the last day is today that you're seeing this. So 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Etsy shop will no longer be on sale, but anything that you see me use in my videos is linked in the description of every video as long as you can buy it online. So my mortgage payment is $422 a month. I stuff $106 a week in order to hit that goal between those 4 paychecks. My internet is $85, so I stuff $22. I could be doing the math on the calculator, but again, I'm just not going to worry about that for right now. So my electric bill is generally between $200 and $250 a month. So I stuff about $240 a month in order to build up a buffer when it happens to be less. So in order to do that, that is $60 a week between those 4 paychecks. Now, when it comes to heat, this is a little bit different for me right now. So our heat sources in our house, first and foremost, we have a pellet stove and then we have our oil. And we have an oil tank that we fill. We don't have a membership through the oil company. We just do it when we need it. And recently we ran out of oil and so we had 100 gallons delivered to the house. That was a week ago, I think, or Tuesday of last week. So that ended up being $320. So divided by the 2 of us, oops, I did times. $320 divided by my boyfriend and I, we do split the oil payments, the heat bills. That is $160 each. Now, this is obviously unconventional, but I also news, I guess, I sold my car, you guys. I sold my car and I am buying a new one. I was hoping that I would have the car by the time I filmed or you guys saw today's video, or at least our next cash stuffing tomorrow that you're seeing this. But because of like the check hold from when I sold my car, I won't have those funds until later this week. So that's the whole yada yada. But I did sell my car, and Austin did so much work. He helped me so much. He pretty much detailed the whole thing for me. He did the listing online and set the price, and I ended up getting full price for my car, which was fantastic. I will show you guys actually sneak peek, but I will be showing you doing a whole cash stuffing of that money that I made from the sale of my car, minus what I'm putting towards my new car. So I'm so excited for that. But with that being said, I did tell him that for all of his help, he could only owe me $60. Basically, I would cover $100 from the sale of my car. For that, I am going to end up giving him a little bit more because he did do a lot to help me. And he's going to be driving me around all this week to like to and from work and whatever, because I'm going to be carless. So with that being said, let's say plus 100, I owe $260. So we have 50, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So, okay, let's take that away. So I need $160 by the first week of May. But with that being said, I am going to be stuffing that much and more with the money that I get from the sale of my car. So I'm not going to worry about budgeting for that today. Our income is just going to be a little bit tighter, not like crazy tight, unreasonably tight, but I think that extra $25 could help. I usually do $25 a week. So we're just going to skip that for now. With that being said, though, water and sewer, I do typically $25 a week. We have $175 in the bank, 70 with Ally, that's where this is, $175, $85, $95, and $105 in here. That is a quarterly bill, so I am going to stuff $25 into our water and sewer bill just to save that up. It's typically around between $200 and $300 every 3 months. So we'll see. My phone bill is $60 a month, so I stuff $15 a week. Now, once again, my car insurance, so I paid in advance 6 months. So I am good until the beginning of August on my car insurance. All of February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, so the beginning of August is when I owe my next payment. But since I'm selling my car and I'm getting a new one, my policy is most likely going to change. Not most likely, my policy is going to change. So I don't know what it's going to change by. I don't know. Basically, they told me that if my policy ends up being less than what I'm paying for right now, they will issue me a refund. But what I'm assuming is that the policy is most likely going to be higher because of the vehicle that I'm buying. So I typically, my policy was I saved $900 every 6 months. It ended up being considerably less, especially I have Allstate. So if you pay the full thing, rather than monthly, you save quite a bit of money. And I also have the good driving thing. So they give you refunds as well. So I typically stuff $30 a week in here. I think I'm still going to this week, but we have $375, $85, $95. We have $405 saved in here. So I'm hoping that is enough to cover any overages or, anything crazy, that any fees or anything that I need from swapping out my car on the policy. But when I get the new numbers for August's payment or whatever, I will readjust that budget. And if I end up having to stuff $50 or $60 a week, at least I paid off those 2 credit cards, so I am able to do that. I say, knocking on wood. So my registration is, oh, you know what? I did swap these in my planner, so I'm going to do that now really quickly. So let's just shove that back in there super fast. So I have a membership to my local car wash place. So I get unlimited car washes for $20 a month, which is amazing. So I stuff $5 a week, 4 weeks, that's $20. I'll unstuff this at the end of the month and I'll pay that with the rest of my bills. So obviously I'm going to have to register my new car. I have $155 saved for that right now. This is annual, obviously, and the registration, I typically try to save around $200 for my current car, and it's due in August. It ends up being around like 170 something, 170 or 180 something when I go to register it, but obviously I'm going to need more when I do my new car. There's going to be, use tax and yada yada. So with that, I am going to put $5 this week into here just because it's $5 and I'm not too concerned about it. But with the money that I'm making from the sale of my car, I do plan on putting a few hundred. I think I was thinking about doing like 300 or something into the registration just to see. I'm going to be putting some into car insurance, into registration, and a bunch of other places. Again, I'll go over that budget when I have the money ready to stuff. But I will be funding registration, car insurance, and all of that, bulking those up quite a bit more with the money from the sale of my car. So that's the plan as of right now. So my Flow Premium app, that is an app where I have a paid subscription. It helps me track my ovulation and my cycles and everything. So I stuff $5 a week in that one as well, just until it is fully funded, and then I'll stop. And then my Sam's Club membership as well. Obviously, that is $120 a year, and that is due next February. So I'm just stuffing $5 a week until we fully fund that, and then I'll stop. So that's it for my bills. And next, we're going to go into my debt binder super quickly. So I showed you guys this before, but this is my updated debt plan for payoff. I will link up in the cards for you guys the video when I went over all my updates. I paid off some credit cards, yada yada. So for my Best Buy credit card, I am planning on paying, as of right now, $950. I will let you know, again, another sneak peek, with the money that I made from the sale of my car. I will be putting some more towards that as an extra payment. So I'm very excited. But when it comes to my weekly budget, I only budget $150 for my Best Buy credit card. The rest will come from my YouTube paycheck. So that is $150. That is going towards my Best Buy credit card this week. For my credit card, I left the S off of there. My Care credit card is paid off. So for this month, I will be using it next month. So we'll go from there. But for my credit card, the interest hit basically between the time that I made the payment to pay it off and the payment actually cleared. So for interest, I had $30.83. We have 10, 15, and 20 in here now. So I owe $10.83. So I'm just going to stuff $11 this week. And then once we stuff that, I will unstuff it and just pull it out and make that payment. So hopefully no more interest pulls. My student loans are $500 a month, so that is $125 a week. And then I am paying my brother back, and this month, again, I am budgeting to pay him $200. We are on track to pay him, or to be paid off in November. There's no interest on that. I just give him cash, but I only budget $25 a week so that we make $100, and then the other $100 will come from my YouTube paycheck. So that is $25. Now, that is it for my bills and my debt. So all I'm going to do is just add this section up so that we'll have a total here, just to make it easier for, calculating what we have left over after. We don't have to subtract all of these numbers. So I have a total of $589. I am a big believer in double checking your math, because You could be wrong. You really could be. It happens all the time. So $589. So the next thing that I need to do is focus on taxes. Now, this is also, what was the word I used? Unconventional. It's not a normal thing that I would normally do. But what I'm going to do with you guys today is actually throw an IOU slip into my taxes because long story short, I had to put a down payment down on the car. We are a few hours away from the dealership. So in order for them to hold it for me, I did have to put a deposit down. And they asked for $500. So I sent that over and I obviously just didn't have that in my account just ready to go. I did plan, of course, on using the funds that I made from the sale of my car, which the check is on hold. So I don't have that money yet, but I will have that money. So I actually pulled this from my full-time paycheck from that $600. So I am going to take $500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to pay back my full-time, just to pay myself back for right now so that I can actually do this cash stuffing for you guys. But then once I get the money for my car, that $500 will go right back into taxes. So that is what this IOU slip is. And again, I have the check from the sale of my car. There's just a hold on it at the bank when you deposit a check that large, even if it's a cashier's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will stay. Well, I'm just going to pop that right back into my account with my typical federal credit union that has my income in it that I cash for the cash stuffing. So moving on, the money that I get paid from Etsy is not taxed. So my full-time job is taxed, but Etsy is not. So in order to not get into a pickle come tax season, I put aside typically between 28 and 30% of my income from both Etsy and YouTube, and any sponsorship money or side income that I do that is not taxed. So $356 times, let's do 0.28. Let's do 28% for right now. That's $99. Let's just round that up to 100. Actually, let's see. 356 times 0.25. 25% would be 90. Okay, so between 90 and 100, I'm okay with doing a little bit more this week, so we'll do 100. Now, shipping, I have to pay for my shipping. Obviously, the labels that are printed for orders. I don't know why I over-explained that. So this week, I did actually just transfer $55 from here that I pulled out last week, and that's still sitting in there for me to print out a bunch of shipping labels. Actually, yeah, so let's do, just from this paycheck, let's do $15. That's okay. $15 is fine. Now, my stamps.com membership is also $20 a month, so I do $5. This is the service that I use to print my shipping labels, and it's $20 a month just for the membership. So I stuff $5 a week in order to pay that. Now, supplies has $40. So let's think here. Let's do, we have 40. Let's do 20 for supplies. For now. I'm not going to stuff equipment, and I'm not going to stuff giveaways from today's income or this week's income. So that's it for my business expenses. Let's add that up. So 115 and 25 is $140. Okay, so those are my first two necessities. Now what I like to do is evaluate how much money I have left to go towards my wallet, sinking funds, and savings. So 913 minus 589 minus 140. So we have $184 left to work with for the budget. Okay, so when it comes to my wallet, so typically I would start with gas. But I'm not gonna have a car this week. And the vehicle that I'm buying, it's from a dealership. So when I saw a picture of the mileage when it was on, the gas tank was full. Well, I would assume that they'd have it pretty full for me when I bought it from a dealership. So what I'm gonna do is but with that being said, I should put a little bit of money. So by the time you're seeing this, my car has already been picked up and sold. She's coming to pick it up tomorrow, which is Saturday for me, but you know what I mean. So she already has it, but I do want to put some gas into the car for her before she comes and grabs it. So let's do 40. That'll get me that'll like more than half fill up my tank. And I think like I think that's pretty good. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So 184 minus 40. Okay, we have 144. Typically I would put $5 into miscellaneous to give myself some $1 bills so I don't have to break bigger bills. I'm just gonna do that because why not? And then, okay, so we have 140 left. We're looking at groceries. We're pretty good on like necessities. It's just going to be more like produce. So we have a bunch of chicken in the freezer, big chicken breasts in the freezer. So we should be good on protein. We also have a bunch of pasta and like instant potatoes, which don't hate on instant potatoes. Okay. They're not mashed potatoes for sure, but they taste good and they're so quick and easy to make. And yeah, so don't harsh on that, but we're good on pretty much all of that. So it's really just like produce. We're probably gonna need some milk, and then like snacks and stuff. So and also someone did comment on one of my previous videos and they're like, how do you get by on $65 a week for 2 people for food? And I don't. My grocery money is my money for my food. And Austin and I kind of go in together on some things. He'll buy things, he'll order out and we'll share. He'll do meals. We keep those things separate, but we eat pretty much, and it doesn't matter. I don't need to explain it. But the money that I stuff in here is for me. It's to feed myself. If he doesn't want to eat or he wants to eat something else, he can. If I want to buy myself lunch one day or some breakfast on my way to work or something like that, even like a coffee, that's what my money is for. So I'm gonna do $50. So that, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to be driving myself to work. So it's not like I'm not going to have a car while I'm at work to go get lunch. So it's not like I'm going to be tempted to go eat out a bunch. So we'll see. 50 and 40 is 90 plus 4 is 94. That's going to go into my wallet this week. And we have $90 left to go into our sinking funds. So first and foremost, I didn't show you guys, but I have a new category. It's new car. And basically I made that and I added it to my digital planner before I found the car that I'm going to buy, because I thought that I wasn't going to be able to find a car in my price range. And I was just going to actually keep my car and not sell it because it has new brakes. So I was just going to keep it and try to sell it later on and start saving up for a new car just in cash to have some savings. But then I found the car that I'm going to get and it was actually less than what I sold my car for. So I didn't have to take out a loan and I was able to buy the car in cash and pay for the registration and insurance and taxes and all that stuff up front. So I lucked out on that, but I'm still going to keep that new car fund just because I'm going to need another car eventually down the road. So even if I stuff $1 in there a week, it'll be something to help, you know? I am, though, going to jump into my my savings binder here, and I want to check my, oh, actually, wait, scratch that. My challenge binder is where I want to look, and I want to check where we're at for the month of April. So we've stuffed 20, we have 10, 15, and 5 left. So what I think I'm going to do for this week, oh wait, did I just X out of that? I'll do it again. So we have, I think I'm going to do 10. I think I'm going to do 10 because even if there are only 4 slots on here, but even if I have a really tight week in the next 2 weeks, I will have that extra paycheck where I could hypothetically do 15, or I could do 2 of them or all 3 of them, hopefully, obviously. But I do want to do my very best to stay on track with this. I also do, I think, plan on kind of getting ahead a little bit with the money from the sale of my car. So we'll see. It's all hypothetical, of course. But, okay, I need to do this again. 913. That's why we write these totals in as we go, because it would suck to have to do all of that. So minus 94, 589, and 140. Okay, so we have $90. So minus 10. Let's see. I also think I want to put $10 into the baby binder as well. We are trying for children, but either way, I know that I want children of my own in the future, and they're going to be expensive. So I want to save up for them slowly but surely, and that's what we're doing. So hopping into my sinking funds binder here, of course, I do have more sinking funds than what I put on this list, but in order to save space, and also just these are my priorities. So this is just really what I know that I want to focus my income on this week. So the dogs have 50, 70, 90, 100. I did grab them a thing of treats. So I don't know if we had 110 or 105 in there, but let's just replace the 10 either way. So let's just put 10 in there. I'm skipping Austin and medical. So car care is empty, you guys. I got an oil change and I paid for my brakes, the labor for my brakes. So, and obviously my membership for my Washville, my car wash membership comes out of its own bill envelope. So this is really for oil changes and general maintenance to the car, and of course like an emergency fund just in case. I am buying the new car, so we'll see. I also kind of am thinking about saving up for snow tires because I live in Maine and snow sucks. The new car I'm getting is all-wheel drive, which is awesome. But yeah, so let's just do $5 in here for right now, and we'll evaluate after. I flipped these on here, but gifts has $10. I'm gonna do 5 because Mother's Day is coming up, and then Father's Day will be shortly after, and I don't know exactly what I want to do yet, but even if it's just flowers and a card and then we cook a meal for her or whatever it ends up being, I'll have a little bit of money in there. So Christmas is another fund that I do plan on bulking up with the money from the sale of my car, but for right now we have $165. It's probably more because, like I said, I have $5 every week automatically transferred from my paycheck to my Christmas fund, and that is really because I can't trust myself to always allocate that money towards Christmas, but that is something that will sneak up on you, and at the end of the year, if you don't have money for it, it's gonna really stink. So in order to make myself save money for Christmas out of the budget, I just automatically do $5 a week. But obviously, 5 times 52 is not quite enough for the Christmas that I like to do. So We have 50 left, but 52 times 5, that's $260. So of course that's a lot of money, but not quite enough for what I want to do. So, and of course I'm not stuffing the full 52 weeks. It's going to be considerably less than that. So it'll probably be closer to 200 with just those $5 transfers. So I do need to stuff extra. Again, I do plan on doing that with some of the money from my car, as well as extra paychecks, extra income, bonuses, and magic months, of course. So let's do... Let's do 5 in there as well. And we'll go from there. Household, I definitely want to stuff. We have 20 in there right now. Let's do 10. In household, this is for things like toiletries. So each Christmas, Austin's parents get us a big bulk thing of paper towels and toilet paper, and we still have probably about half of the toilet paper left and like at least a few more rolls of paper towels. So we should be okay for at least another month. I'm not going to stuff personal. Garage, actually, so I understuffed this 25, 35, and 20, 35, 40, and 45. I messed something up in last week's budget, and I only put 5 in here. So let's just replace that 5. So we have 20, 50 in there now. And then I'm skipping, I put this money back in the wrong place. Auntie, we're going to skip that. I have $250 in bridesmaid. About 100 of that is going to go towards my hair and makeup. I already bought my dress, and I am a bridesmaid in one of my friend's weddings, and Austin is a groomsman, so I'm very excited for that. This is the first wedding I've ever been actually involved in, so I'm very much looking forward to it. But I did order my dress. About 100 of it is going to be hair and makeup, and then whatever's left is really going to be for the, I said bridesmaids party, bachelorette party, which is going to be like a weekend event. We're going to be there a couple nights. So not only are we going to be like getting some food, going out and doing activities, but I'm also going to need to probably buy some like new bathing suit, some outfits, because we're color coordinating some things. So I'll evaluate that obviously as I get closer, but I am going to put $5. I'm going to try to do at least $5 a week in here. The bachelorette party is the first week of June, so I don't have too much time to keep saving up for it. So we'll get closer. Maybe with my magic month paycheck, I'll put a little bit extra in there, but that's it for my sinking funds. And that puts us at 10, 25, 35, 40, and 45. Let me just quickly, I like to do this just in case I like missed something or like I didn't subtract at one point. I like to just reevaluate. Wait a second. Oh yeah. Minus 20. Okay. So we're at $25, and our 3 savings categories left are manifest, new car, emergency, and home emergency. So new car is not in here yet, obviously, but manifest, I do. So we have 235. We have 25 left. 235, and then we have 50, 70, 90, 100. Really? Okay. So we have $335 in cash. I do owe $337 from money. I don't remember even why I took that out. I explained it previously, so the explanation's somewhere on my channel, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So I do owe that money to it. I'm honestly thinking about just taking, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to take that out, and I'm not going to worry about paying back that specific amount. I'm just going to worry about stuffing this and just rebuilding it. That's what I'm going to do. So we have $335 in here right now. Let's do 5. Okay. Let's do 5. So we'll have $340 at least at the end of this week, and then we'll go from there. I'm not going to stuff new car this week, I don't think. I mean, I have 20 left, so screw it. Let's stuff new car with 5. Emergency has 370, 580, and 385. And home emergency has 45, 350, 350, 370, 585. Let's just put the full 15 into emergency to bring that up to 400, and then we just won't stuff home emergency as of right now. But if I do make more money between the time I'm filming this and the time that I actually get paid from Etsy, maybe I'll just put an extra 5 or however much extra into home emergency and go from there. So we have 10, 20, 35, 40, and 45 going into savings as well. So let's just double check. 913, let's do 956 minus the 43 that's staying in the bank, minus 94 for my wallet, 859, 589 for bills and debt, 45 for my sinking funds, 45 for my savings, and 140 for my my business expenses, gives us $0. Now that is why we call this a zero-based budget, because by the end we have assigned every single dollar that we have been paid a job. So we have $0 left over from the budget. There's nothing going into a buffer. There's no extra spending money. It is, and of course, if I had a category for spending, I could allocate money towards that, but I just personally don't. So I do have a personal envelope, but I'm not funding it right now. So that is why we call it a zero-based budget. There's $0 left over at the end of the budget to work with, to whatever. Every single dollar is assigned a job. It has a role. It is going to be spent, essentially. So that is how I budget my paychecks, you guys. And this is a preliminary budget for April pay period number 2. If you enjoyed, which I really hope that you did, please don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up and leave a yellow heart in the comments to show your support for the channel. And of course, subscribe. We're on the road to 15,000. Seriously, such a crazy number to say. But that is when my next giveaway will be. So if you haven't yet subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you would take a moment to do so. But also, I did notice that we had about 100 new subscribers in the last few days since I hit 13,000, which was, I'm filming this on Friday. So we hit 13,000 subscribers, I think, on Monday. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 4 or 5 days, we've had another 100 of you guys join this channel, which is crazy. So welcome. If you are a new subscriber, comment down below, say hello, let me know. And I'd love to say hello as well. But yeah, I'm just love seeing this community grow. It is so gratifying. It is so rewarding. And I just appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget, you guys, my Etsy shop is on sale and it ends tonight that you're seeing this. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Obviously, everything will still be available after the sale, but if you want a little bit of a discount, now's the time. But yeah, with that being said, I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, week, month, year, and I will see you in the next one, which is tomorrow. Bye.